What's up, everybody? Welcome, 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 Metal Summoners. We love you guys. We are so stoked, as always, to be live with you. It is Wednesday. It is the beginning of the weekend as far as we're concerned, and it is time for the Metal Summit. We will be joined by Chris from Trauma very, very shortly.
Yeah.
Rocking out with the members of the Islet of Misfit Toys. We've got Empress Bobby Dreher, we've got Angel Alamo, the Heavenly One himself, and we will have Psycho Steve in a little while as well. But we are actually going to get started with a little bit of casual talk because, as you Metal Summoners are well aware of, the four of us are regulars at Maryland's own M3 Festival that's held every year, either in late April or early May, and there is Psycho Steve now. So we are actually going to open up the show with a little bit of discussion. For anybody that is not aware, M3 has put out their lineup. They have shrank it back down to 2 days as opposed to 3, and have cut off their Friday in exchange for keeping
Just
Sunday.
the tip.
There's been a pretty interesting back and forth, of course, throughout the community about what they think of this, about the lineup, and about so on and so forth on whether or not it's a good thing, it's a bad thing, or what mistakes have been made, or whether it's a good thing. So actually, Bobby, we're going to kick it to you to start this off because you've actually been incredibly vocal, honestly, in some displeasure of what you think. There could be that this could even potentially be the last M3 in your eyes.
Let's kind of looking at it, I don't want to sound like the grandpa of the group, but, I will. But you think about it, it's like, hello, kiddies, let's bring your parents out to the gig. Look at the lineup. It's a little tough on this one. How do you bring new clientele out when, look, I love the bands that are playing, but, we're kind of going for the last hurrah. If you think about it, we got Sticks and Kicks,
right?
Kind of is like a kicks in the dicks. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, the thing for me, I'm cool with the Sticks thing because I personally have the same reaction to Sticks this year as I had to Blue Oyster Cult last year.
Wow, they could have cut that set down to 20 minutes.
True, but as far as the criteria, from my opinion, on what M3 has been lacking and needing to do, I dig it for that reason. With, there were always three main criterias that M3 would always skip over every year. And one would be like, what's that kind of band that's like time tested, a real quality band, but isn't quite on the grid like that. The second criteria is always like, what's a band that's really out of the box when it comes to what we're used to seeing at M3. And that was fulfilled by Lizzie Borden. And then is, what do you think, what we need, like newer blood that are going to keep the genre going? And that's what Burning Witches did. So I'm kind of digging Sticks for the same reason that I dug Blue Oyster Cult. But overall, I'm liking the fact it's gone to Saturday, Sunday, as opposed to Friday, Saturday. It's going to be weird not having the Kicks off. I don't love, no disrespect to Kicks, because, we all love Kicks, but I don't love the fact that now they're headlining on Sunday when I'd prefer there to be another heavy hitter headlining on Sunday. But Psycho Steve, let's kick it over to you, man. Current thoughts on this first week of M3 announcements.
Well, here's the thing. Like I said, and you said, and everybody else said, I am a fan of Sticks, but I don't think they fit M3. Like Blue Oyster Cult and Sticks and like Boston and Kansas, they should all have their own kind of M3. M3 is meant for new and up and coming some metal bands and also the classic metal bands and hard rock bands. And what I mean by classic, I mean like the bands like the Winger, the Warrant, the Firehouse, the LA Guns, those kind of bands.
Right.
I don't think, if we're talking who they should have, if you want to bring Sticks, honestly, you should get Ted Nugent and bring a couple of the guys, Tommy, and get Damn Yankees back together.
Yeah.
For sure, which is funny because you literally have Sticks and Ted Nugent and Leonard Skinner Oh, with Night Ranger.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And then and then also, how they portrayed Brittany Fox. It's not really Brittany Fox.
Oh.
It's one member of the original lineup of Brittany Fox.
Wow.
You
You
know,
got to look at it, Steve. If we're going to go that route, then look at Quiet Riot on the menu.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, but they're paying a tribute to Frankie.
They're still a solo unit though.
Right.
There's 2 Brittany Foxes.
Well, then you got to go, look, then we got, LA Guns on there, which is,
Right.
Well,
they really, remember the first year that we all attended and we all met each other was when the LA Guns with Steve Riley and Kurt and everything, which was our first guest for our show.
And currently we're not going to get Phil and Tracy currently on M3 because of the way they felt disrespected the original time that they were going to be on M3, which is actually the reason why they ended up on Brad's show on Sunday night.
Right.
So it's definitely an interesting thing there. Yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from, Bobby, 100% when it comes to the Quiet Riot thing. There's our guy.
Of another
Sorry, I'm running a little bit late, man.
That's okay.
No, you're not late. You're early.
You're good, man.
No, you're never late, brother. Yeah.
Oh, right on. How are you guys all doing?
We're good, brother. We're good.
Awesome.
We're just talking about the upcoming M3 announcement that came out a few days ago about the M3 festival here in Maryland that they do every year, and they just announced the lineups and the fact it'll be 2 days instead of 3 this year.
Oh, killer! Right
So
on.
we're kind of giving a around the table discussion part about it. So if you're unfamiliar, Chris, it's basically it's not even basically, it's the biggest 80s metal festival in the country that's dedicated specifically to that genre. They splice in some other stuff here and there, but it's now 14 years of the biggest running festival dedicated to those bands.
Awesome.
Now there's a lot of other stuff coming up around it, like Monsters in the Mountain that Bobby's been to a few times. It's similar. It's kind of like Monsters of Rock without being on a ship.
Yeah.
So it's right in that thing. But just like any other major festival, when the announcement comes out, everybody with an opinion voices it.
Oh,
So we're just kind of chit-chatting a little bit about it because they've got their Saturday headliner as Styx,
wow.
which
That's
is
cool.
which I'm cool with because I was telling the guys and the fans, Styx fits to me as part of 3 criteria areas that I think M3 needed to do better. Last year they had Blue Oyster Cult on the show,
Oh,
and
wow.
I liked it because I wanted to see M3 start bringing on like some bands that like kind of are kind of like time tested and classic,
Yeah.
even if they're a little bit outside the box, but fit that way. And I thought Blue Oyster Cult fit, and I'm comfortable with Styx. Last year they brought on Lizzie Borden as like my weird out of the box band that I was super hyped for, and all the guys loved them as well. And there was a band from Switzerland called Burning Witches, which is kind of like a newer band to kind of keep that new blood flowing and stuff like that.
We were supposed to tour with them a couple of years ago before COVID.
With Burning Witches?
Yeah.
Oh, nice, dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, Chris, before we bring you in officially, because we got a lot of great stuff to get to talk to you
yes,
about,
we do.
Angel, I want to kick it up to you, man, because we haven't heard your side yet of the M3 conversation.
My only thing about all these festivals that I wish that they would do differently is invite the Metal Summit to come out and host your fucking event instead of having the same fucking person host. I'm not going to say the name, but we all know hosted by so-and-so, but have us come out and host. I mean, my thing is, look, people are always going to love it and hate it. It's always going to be a debate. They should have added this band or that band, but have us host.
Yeah, man. That's definitely going to be a unanimous amen from this crew. And real quick, guys, just right across the board, what do you guys think of Saturday and Sunday versus Friday and Saturday, or even Friday, Saturday, Sunday? What's your thoughts on the new date?
You know, this year, and you know why we did it. Well, I have to watch what I say because some people say I'm a little too visible, and I'm not going to mention the individual, but
Is it the blonde hair?
Don't worry, Bobby. We'll just leave you off to bake your cookies and all that stuff. So
well, I don't have to worry too much because somebody's out there with Donald.
right,
We know.
but I got you. But in general, dude, what do you think of Saturday and Sunday?
Well, they're doing so. There's going to be something going down Friday night for the people who bought the VIP and all that. So it'll be announced very soon.
Right.
So Brad's not being involved this year.
No, well, Brad's never been involved in M3. So he's done stuff with Dave Dillman, and Dave is going to be doing his M3 party on Friday.
Well,
as far as I know, and from my understanding, not fully speaking on his behalf, but our current plans when it comes to BLE are for 2023.
Is there something going on?
We've definitely got some stuff in the works. We're really excited to make those announcements. We're eyeballing for late winter, early spring for those announcements, but right now we're really just trying to keep the holidays as the holidays.
Wow, cool. So what I want to kick it back to is Chris. And
Yes.
I gotta say, the big thing right here, Chris, that tour you guys got going on with, Queensryche, Marty Freeman. What the hell, dude? I'm like, look, I'm so.
Love your shirt, man.
Well, Bobby,
thank you.
Bobby, real quick, man, you got to go all in for the poor guy. Why is he on the show? Like, who's he with?
Well, it would be these gentlemen right here. It would be
There we go.
Trauma.
Yeah. I got the background. I got the background with the new albums.
Oh,
That was all I
you gotta love it.
Why did you
Oh
do
my
that?
God, new album just came out, kicking my ass across the room. Woo! I mean, look, what a Christmas present I got.
And don't forget, they got merch on their website. So if
Yes.
you want to buy a hoodie, you want to buy a shirt, that's a great Christmas gift or a birthday
it
gift.
would be a Chris Miss
Or-
gift. Come on, Chris, talk about this stuff here.
Yeah.
Dude, you got so much crap going on. Like, I got to throw it to you.
Well, do you have any questions or anything?
Well, the big thing is, how the hell did you wind up with this tour?
Well, believe it or not, I mean, the album's actually doing really good right now. We got a lot of really great reviews off of it and everything, and we have a really good team of people that are working for the band, and it kind of helps to, know people, and basically Queensryche, they listened to our CD, and they all voted on it.
Wow.
And
Wow.
they so they decided to have us on it. So it was quite, like, oh my God kind of moment, especially for the amount of time this tour is going to be. It's like, 6 weeks. It's like
Yep.
32 dates,
Including Baltimore, baby. I'm super stoked to see you, man.
Yeah. So it'll be quite an experience, to say the least. I mean, we just started rehearsing for it. The band's totally stoked to do it. It should be really fun.
So when it comes to the set, what can you tell us a little bit about it? Is it a little bit off each album? Is it going to be new album heavy?
I think we're primarily going to be playing most of the tracks off the new album. There might be a couple off. There might be a couple off a couple of the older albums. We're kind of just going through material right now to make sure it's like the strongest it could be. So, there's a lot of pre-production and what we're going to do for the show going on and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot to it,
Right on. Absolutely, man. And when it comes to the overall tour package, I mean, you guys are long-standing runners, since the 80s as well. Like, do you have any previous history with either Queensryche or even Marty Friedman, whether he was in Megadeth or with any of his other projects?
No.
Nice.
Not really. No. I mean, I've been a Queensryche fan for a long time. I saw them recently opening up for Judas Priest.
Yeah.
And I thought, they kicked my ass when I saw them. I thought they were really, really good. Really super tight band. They seem like really nice guys. And, we're looking forward to it. But we didn't have any kind of affiliation with them or Marty Friedman. I know Marty Friedman's like a guitar god over in Japan.
Yeah.
I just don't know, really what he's done in the States recently, if anything at all.
He's come through. Like, I've seen him on tour a few times, a couple times in recent years, doing his solo thing, which is an instrumental,
Right.
Heavy show, but it's fantastic. I mean, Marty Friedman is definitely the definition of that old saying, I'm big in Japan.
Right.
That dude is definitely huge in Japan for sure.
Yeah.
But Psycho Steve, let's kick it down to you, brother.
It's kind
Well,
of like
welcome back to the show, Chris.
Fusion Japan.
Uh-huh.
I said, welcome back to the show.
Oh, thank you, man. I was really stoked to do this.
Yeah, we're good. We're very happy to have you.
Man.
I'm waiting for my CD to come in the mail. I did order it, but
Oh, okay.
just want to let you know. So, from what I heard online, besides the reviews, the single I really enjoy. So, as far as in the lineup, as we said, Queensryche, Trauma, and Marty Friedman. Do we see it's going to be Marty Friedman first? Do we know how it's going to be? Are you going first, or is it Trauma first, then Marty, then Queensryche?
Yeah, we open. Trauma opens, then Marty Friedman, then Queensryche.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Now, as far as in the tour, is there any specific place that you haven't played that you are playing? Did you get your tour itinerary already? And you're really looking forward to seeing or playing?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we're stoked to be playing. I mean, a lot of these are pretty much like I would say 1,200 to 2,500, 3,000 seat venues.
Yeah.
That we're playing at. So, we're totally looking forward to it. A lot of places we've never played at.
Right on.
So, there's I think 2 or 3 House of Blues gigs we're doing.
Wow.
Those are always cool. I know we're playing at the Paramount in New York.
Cool.
Oh.
That's probably the closest to me.
Irving Plaza.
Oh, all right. I'll probably hit the Irving Plaza one. That's closest to me. I live like 20 minutes outside of New York City. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, it seems like the venues that they got are really good, man. Like they're old theaters and stuff like that. So
Well, you got a really cool one coming up with the Brooklyn Bowl too in Nashville, which is just a great venue.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've looked at some of them online and they all look freaking killer. So I'm just glad that a lot of these places are still open, with the stupid COVID thing, because there's a lot of people who hung it up during COVID. A lot of clubs and stuff closed.
The only thing I'm bummed about this, there's no Philly dates on here.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I had nothing to do with picking the dates.
Oh, perfect. Do that.
Then Bobby, you just come up to New York with me and we'll go. Angel, you'll come up to New York and we'll go.
Well, Irving's, I think Irving's the closest one, but what a great lineup you're having here. I mean, so how did all this come about with you guys?
Well, the singer Brian Allen, he was in a band called Dark Sky Choir some years ago.
Yes, with Fred Guru.
Yeah, and they opened up for Queensryche in Europe, They went on.
Wow.
I think it was in 2019. So Brian and Todd LaTorre from Queensrÿche are really, really good friends.
Oh, very cool.
So that's kind of how it started. So it just kind of escalated, over some months. It wasn't like we got the gig immediately or got offered the tour immediately. It took some doing. Management needed to talk. Yeah, there's quite a process behind it. But I'm glad so far that it's all been it's all working out.
he owns this show. Like,
was that your cat? Or
yeah, it's one of my two cats. That's Motley. He always gets involved. He's got his own little fan group. For
Yeah.
That's funny, man.
It's Jay and his pussies.
Cats.
Yeah,
Cats are cool.
yeah, that they are.
So, but yeah, we're totally excited to do this, man. I mean, it's been a long time coming. So, yeah, back in August, I don't know if you guys are aware too, we went over and played the Alcatraz Festival over in Belgium.
Wow.
Yeah. How was that, man?
That was crazy. I mean, those festivals that they have over in Europe, I'm not sure how they do it all the time, but it was basically like 4 days, 4 days back to back. And they must have had 150 to 200 bands that played, throughout that time. So as a fan, I'm not even so sure how you could actually even listen to that many bands. I guess you would pick and choose what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Right before we went on stage, I talked to the the monitor guy. He's this European guy, and he told me he had been working 17 hours every day for the 4 days.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, that's how they run these things. It's just like back to back to back to back to back. The drums. You set up when one band's playing, you set up the drums on a riser that's got wheels on it. As soon as that band's done playing, they wheel that set off, wheel the set that I'm playing on right in there, switch out a couple amps, do a quick sound check, and freaking go.
Wow.
But the cool thing about it was we played most of the new songs off the new album, which it was kind of a good thing to do because it was kind of like a guinea pig. Nobody ever heard these songs, because the album wasn't out yet. And the reaction we got from people was really good. So we're happy about that.
Is that what we could expect this tour? Or just a good mixture of everything?
I think most of the materials are going to be off the new album that we're
Right
going to be playing, because we're really having fun playing that stuff. So, and unfortunately, as we talked about before, Donnie passed away. So we got Brian Allen now singing on the new album. And I mean, he's really comfortable playing, singing like some of the older songs.
Right.
Anyways, most of it will be the new material.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I saw Brian when he was in Dark Sky Choir here in Jersey,
Okay, cool.
when he played at Starland.
How was it?
He was good. He was very entertaining. The band was really good too.
Cool.
So
Awesome. That's
So.
great.
he definitely fits you guys,
For
well.
sure.
So
And also
let's
music
throw it
that-
back to a big bone. Let's go back to Cliff Burton. I mean, how did Cliff? We talked about it when you were on the first time, but Cliff Burton and Trauma. How did that all come about?
To be honest with you, I had joined the band after Cliff left to join Metallica.
Wow.
So I wasn't in the band when Cliff was in it. I mean, I literally just joined the band and he got out to join Metallica, but he would come to our gigs to watch the band play and everything. So he was a really cool guy.
Yeah. So let's steer back this way. Let's get a little bit into Awakening. So because we are the farthest thing from adults on this show. And this is episode 152, going back to having you on episode 83, which would be 69 episodes ago.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow. 69.
Let's just talk a little bit about Awakening, because we could only really touch on the recording process and everything during that episode. Let's dive into, like, you know, its release, its reaction, and how you guys are feeling about getting to perform, you know, new songs for the fans.
Yeah. I mean, you want to talk about like how it was recorded, or
Yeah, like how it was recorded, but then also just the release, and then what you guys saw as the reaction to it.
oh, okay. Well, I mean, the recording process, like, you know, I don't remember totally. I think we're just getting started the last time I was on the show. The recording process was quite lengthy because during that time, that's when Donnie passed away.
Right.
And then, you know, we almost didn't even do anything. I mean, I was considering to just say the hell with the whole thing. But then our producer knew of Brian Allen. And that's how Brian got in the band, and thank God everything worked out, because, you know, it's not an easy thing finding a new lead singer at all, you know, especially someone who fits really well. I mean, we could have literally been looking for a long time, but somehow that didn't happen, which was a miracle. But anyways, so then we ended up tracking, you know, the record, yada, 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 got it all finished. And then, you know, the release, when it got released, I would say probably within a week to 2 weeks, our PR guy, who was Chipster PR, he actually, several of his clients, one of his clients is Judas Priest. He also does Queensryche, really super cool guy. I don't know if you guys know Chip at all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We all
awesome,
He's a really cool guy.
awesome guy. And, you know, he started doing the promo for the record, and it just started doing really well. We got a lot of great reviews, which we were really happy about. As far as sales, I think it's doing pretty good. You know, it's one of those things, we dealt with a German label, so it's not like we're in contact with them all the time. But you know, I think we did a good job for under the gun that we were to do it.
Yeah.
But we are, like I said before, we're totally super happy to get out there and play this material for people. I'm just glad we're getting an opportunity to do it, you know, because it's not easy in this day and age to get these kind of opportunities. So we are very grateful to, you know, to Queensryche that they've, you know, want us on the tour. So,
Absolutely.
you know,
100%. When for you personally, what's your reaction to when you get to release a new album? Was there anything about this album, you know, that differed from the previous albums, and the excitement that you're always going to have with the release of an album, knowing the personal kind of trials that the band had to go through just to get this new music out?
yeah, you know, I try not to wear it on my sleeve too much or really try to talk about it very much, because, you know, every band has their own way of doing everything. I mean, there is a little bit of excitement when you realize, oh, we're putting a new album out, but there's a little bit more to it than just putting a new album out. It's kind of like, okay, I hope we can, you know, get some tour dates off this. Without that, it's going to die really quick. You know, I mean, you got to try to get out and play live as much as possible after putting a new album out. And it's just, in this day and age, it's just not an easy thing to do. You know, it's really difficult. There's a lot of bands that never get the opportunity to do this. So it's just one of those things that, yeah, you know, I'm definitely excited about it for sure. I'm glad that it's getting the reaction it's getting. And, hopefully after this Queensryche thing, we'll be able to go do some festivals or something over in Europe for the summer.
Oh, hell yeah. That would be awesome. I'd love to see you guys tear it up at like Wacken.
Oh, God. Yeah. I mean, you never know. You never know. Maybe we'll get lucky and be able to get on that. Those festivals are not easy to get on, though.
Yeah.
They're not.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
There's probably so many different like hoops, so much consideration, just so much craziness.
Well, yeah, because I mean, the thing is that it's all about making money.
Yeah.
So as long as you're in a band that could put asses in seats,
Yeah.
you're doing okay.
Yeah.
But
No, 100%.
And
like it was crazy. I mean, my buddy Michael is the former lead singer for the Misfits, and he just played Wacken, and even I was kind of like, holy shit, dude! How even with your history, how the fuck did you get that gig, dude? That's so hard.
right. Yeah.
So I definitely understand that for sure. But Angel, let's kick it up to you, man, and get a little bit of FaceTime for you, and let's hear from some of the Metal Summoners, brother.
Oh, well, one of the fans would like to know is any chance of seeing the band up in Canada?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. We don't have any shows booked up there or anything like that right now, but we would love to play up there. I think some years ago we had the opportunity to open up for Udo, and we were going to do a tour with Udo, and those dates were going to be up in Canada. This was back in 2017, I think, something like that. But on the day of the announcement of the tour, he decided to pull out. So it didn't happen. So hopefully the next time something like that gets booked, we'll be able to get up there. But we would love to go up to Canada for sure.
Okay. And any chance that we could see after the Queensryche tour at some point later in the year, see you guys actually going out on your own to play in the United States markets?
Yeah, that's a possibility. It's just one of those things we just have to get out there and just kick some ass on this tour, and hopefully that will happen and try to really create a good demand for the band. So that's kind of what we got to do, and hopefully it all works. We're planning on delivering. That's for sure.
And with Europe, you guys played Europe last summer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay. So we know that European fans, they love their rock music. So what was the reaction to the new singer and the new songs that you were playing?
Well, we played two different gigs when we were there. So we flew over to Belgium, and then I'm trying to remember. We played Alcatraz Festival Sunday, and Saturday night we played at a pretty famous little club in the Netherlands called the Little Devil Club. And it was packed. It was really packed, and we played the set we were going to play at the Alcatraz Festival to those people, and people were freaking out. It went really, really, really well. And then once again, Sunday when we played the Alcatraz Festival, it was probably, I don't know, several thousand people or something there. It was ungodly hot, It was super freaking hot over there. We played in this gigantic like circus tent, and it was brutal. It was brutal. It was so freaking hot in there. It was you couldn't even hardly even breathe.
Oh my God.
But the reaction was really cool. People really liked it a lot, man. And it's one of these things we just got to try to keep doing it.
And Brian would like to know your favorite sport.
My favorite sport? I don't know if I would really call it a sport, but I really like drag racing.
Nice.
Nice.
like the NHR stuff, the big nitromethane monsters, dragsters and funny cars and stuff like that. And, baseball, football, basketball. I watch that stuff every now and then.
I love drag racing too.
Yeah. Oh,
I love watching it. I don't like racing, but I like watching it.
well, if you've never been to an actual NHR drag race, like live, to see these things live,
It's amazing.
yeah. It's freaking nuts. It's crazy. It's crazy shit.
Wrong drag race.
Oh, Bobby.
I'm just like waiting to hear a bunch of metal guys like Halford in high heels going across the room.
Oh God.
Exactly.
Or we know Brian Johnson. and Vince Neil working for
Chris,
drag
I gotta
racing.
ask, craziest thing that ever happened to you touring?
God. Let me think, man.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay. I was just talking about this the other day. Okay, so one thing you got to remember is, you're traveling through all these states, and a lot of times you go through these states and there's like a whole lot of nothing, you go through Texas or Oklahoma. But I remember we did this tour in the deep South one time. I think we were in like, I don't know, Alabama or Mississippi or some freaking backwards ass place. And the bus we had at the time, it blew a radiator hose. We were out in the middle of like nowhere, and the radiator hose spewed all the coolant out of the engine, everything. We're like, oh my God, we're stranded. And like literally we're out in the middle of nowhere. And I'm kind of a little bit of a mechanic. So I go, let me see if I can fix it. So I took the radiator hose off and put a beer can in between where the brake was and duct taped the crap out of the hose. And I kind of knew in the back of my mind, when the pressure builds up, there's like no way in hell this is going to work. So I put it all back together, and we go down to this river, and here I am with a jug, filling up this jug with water. I went down there the second time, and all of a sudden I realized we're in the deep South. There's freaking alligators in this, river. You know what I mean?
Damn.
Yeah, and it's just like, what the hell are we doing, man? And I mean, it was just, anyways, make a long story short, finally someone helped us out on the side of the road. We missed like 2 gigs because of it. And it's not that crazy of a story, but at the time, if you would have been there and had to deal with that, you realize, oh my God, this is freaking nuts, But I have other ones too, but I don't want to bore you guys to death.
Have you ever had any like crazy border situations?
No, not really. I've heard of some, but I've never experienced any.
Gotcha, man.
Yeah, nothing too crazy.
I got you, dude. Hey, Angel, let's kick it back up to you, bud, and then we'll bring back in Steve.
No, back to you. There's no fan questions right now.
No worries, man. All good. Right back down to you, our beloved Psycho Steve.
So, what's your favorite song on the new album?
Oh man, God, I really like them all.
Which one's the ugly child?
Yeah, I think I would have to say, I don't know. I kind of like Walk Away. If I had to pick like one that really like that song just really represents like Bay Area thrash metal to me. So I'd have to pick that one.
Okay. Speaking of thrash and you guys, we now have a new version of Pantera. We've discussed it on other shows, and I want your take on it because Anthrax, Pantera, Slayer, you guys, Metallica, are like the God, Testament
Right.
are the founders of thrash. Now, I was very near and dear to Dime. He was one of my dearest friends. So, and then Vinny's passing.
Oh, yeah.
What is your take on Phil and Rex and Zach and Charlie going out and calling it Pantera?
Yeah, well, I mean, trauma is nowhere near close to the popularity of Pantera by any means. I've always really dug that band a lot. I mean, I remember when I first heard them, I was like, holy freaking shit. I mean, that's some badass stuff that they did, I mean, very unique in the way they played. And their live, the way they sounded live was freaking sick off the charts, man. So, I mean, right now I'm like the only original member from all those years ago in Trauma. All the guys that I got are like, guys. All I can say is, man, it's like their music, was put through the test of time, and they created a huge demand for their music, and people wanted to hear it live, So I think it's cool what they're doing, I mean, it's just, there's a lot of fans of that band, and the lead singer is the lead singer still. It's not like they changed him out. Yeah, so I mean, I'm a fan of it. I think it's cool.
This 23-year-old becomes a priest, and her 3-year-old
Okay. Jay?
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I always, this was an interesting discussion that we had, especially from Steve's point of view as well, with his tightness to the Pantera camp. My thing is more like, I'm cool with it, but I wish it was just slightly more retitled. Like the comparison that I always gave it to was what the Misfits are doing right now, where it would be like the original Misfits, Jerry Only and Glenn Danzig, with Doyle Wolfgang von Frankenstein, who a lot of people associate, especially very visually, with the original Misfits. People think the Misfits, they definitely think Doyle as well as a part of that, even though, there were definitely a bunch of guitar players before him. So there's a part of me that's kind of like, I would have loved if it had been kind of designed sort of in that way, whether they called it Anselmo and Rex and Brown or Phil and Rex or, just something kind of along those lines where it was like, perform, paying tribute to the legend of Pantera, like, featuring Zakk Wylde and Charlie Benante. And, and I'm not a gatekeeper. I'm not that particularly big on like stopping anybody from going to see or listen to anything that would bring them enjoyment. I just, with that particular lineup, I don't love the fact that they just kind of left it at Pantera. That's all.
Yeah.
Especially because also right before you joined us, when we were discussing M3, they've got Brittany Fox from Philadelphia on the show, and Brittany Fox is unfortunately another current band from the 80s that has two versions of Brittany Fox. Like at one point, like there's two LA Guns. At one point, there were two Faster Pussycats and stuff like that. So, the original member Billy has his Brittany Fox with a bunch of hired guns. That's who you're getting at M3 versus the other three guys who will periodically get together to kind of do Brittany Fox with like the bulk of the guys. So my only real situation when it comes to the whole Pantera thing is I just don't love the fact that they're calling it Pantera and leaving it at that. I just think for the sake of the fans and for the sake of respect, even though the Abbott, camp have given their blessing to this tour, I just think for clarity and to the fans, I just wish they would be a little bit more transparent in exactly what fans are getting.
Sure.
And for what it's worth, we definitely want to send our well wishes to Rex Brown, who did have to miss some shows due to illness recently. And so Phil brought in one of his guys from Cattle Decapitation and from Scour, who filled in on bass. And so I do also, I'll admit, I feel a little bit for those fans who literally only got Phil for that show. So I feel a little bit for those guys.
Yeah.
But Bobby, let's kick it back to you, my guy.
He's
You're on
muted.
So with that, look, it's hard with a lot of these bands. I mean, we go out with, they use the name, but what do are they a tribute band? Are they? It's kind of hard to really place it. Look, let's look at Foreigner right now. Nobody in the fucking band is in Foreigner. No original member. Mm-hmm. And, it's kind of a tough one. We have LA Guns on the bill for M3.
Yeah.
Which LA Guns do you want?
Right.
So,
at least with them, they settled what they had to settle. So they are being promoted as Riley's LA Guns.
Yeah, so. But it's Pantera should be Pantera 2.0, or whatever it is, or
yeah.
Well, what's your thoughts on tribute acts versus when it comes to certain bands? Like, would you rather just the bands go to rest, or would you rather they continue in some form? Like we had the discussion recently with about Autograph, because they're going through some shit right now. We were talking about M3 when it comes to the Quiet Riot situation.
Well, let's put it this way. When you're charging, and I'll put it you're charging somebody $900 for a VIP package with a cover band for M3. I mean, and you're worried about money not being, made. What do you think's going to be happening?
That's fair. It's definitely a valid opinion, bud, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of bands out there, and Chris can vouch for this. Look, put the guys on there that are really doing it. I'd like to see Trauma. Why isn't Trauma on the bill? Put some of the newer bands out there.
Right. Well, and that's what I was saying earlier too about my three little area criteria that I think that M3 needed long ago to get better at. And I still stand by it. I was actually talking to my hairstylist about this today, because we were talking about M3, because she's a rock chick and her boyfriend's a drummer. And my thing about it is like, I will die on the hill fighting this point. And it's like that meme. Here's the thought, changed my mind. Nobody's going to win. Last year's M3, regardless, was the best M3 that they've done in easily 10 years. I still think that 2012 was their overall best year as far as the biggest names from the 80s that they had played that year. But last year, without a shadow of a doubt, best M3 that they've had in 10 years, and I will die on the mountain fighting it. Because they had everything that all the keyboard warriors had been crying about for 10 years. Because remember, last year was the 13th year. So I'll spot them 3 years as a relatively new festival. So yeah, by that fourth year was when people really wanted to have, they really wanted their opinion / asshole to be heard. And so that was my thing. You got a time-tested, kind of unique band in BOC. You got a straight up out of the box band in Lizzie Borden, and you got Young Blood in Burning Witches, mixed with all these other great bands and stuff like that that go back to the day. Lillian Axe and all that kind of stuff. So Last year, I was all about it. This year, I'm all about it. I like the fact they shrank it. So that's kind of my thing. Like when it comes to Quiet Riot, I'm a longtime Quiet Riot guy. I've, knowing Alex the way I've known him over the years, I'll admit I've probably become just biased as fuck. And then Steve, you of all people definitely know this. If there was ever a guy from my point of view that they were going to put in Frankie Benali's chair, they put the guy from Typo Negative there. You really think that I'm going to turn my back on that? Fuck you. So I'm down for what it's worth. And I'm one of those guys that I'd rather keep the music going unless they're truly doing a disservice to it. I will say the version of Brittany Fox that we're getting, I mean, I'll save my official opinion for when I actually get to see them because I've personally never seen a version of Brittany Fox ever. So I'll save it for when I see it and I'll let them change my mind. But I don't love the fact that it's one guy in a legal battle with the other three guys. That's a weird little feeling and stuff like that. But I mean, we'll have to wait and see how it goes. But Chris, let's steer it back to you, brother. What are some of the like type of festivals that like you like to play in, or just shows in general? Are you like an indoor kind of like club, theater, arena type of guy? Are you an outdoorsman when it comes to performing?
Oh, no, I like all of it. There's really no. I mean, I love indoor stadium gigs. I've seen some. Right before COVID, I went and saw Kiss. That was unfreaking real. I mean, those guys. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. Same thing with Judas Priest. I mean, they played at kind of a small place when I saw them last. It was like a 3,500 seater. Probably the last time I saw those guys was one of the last times was at the Cow Palace in San Francisco. But yeah, I mean, I like outdoor stuff too. Where I live up here in Tahoe, they got Harvey's where they do big concerts outside. That's really cool in the summer. I've seen Aerosmith there like twice, which was really. So yeah, it just really depends where the band's playing. And I love small places too. I've seen a lot of great shows in small places as well. So, how about yourself?
I'm definitely. I mean, I am the biggest like emo prima donna when it comes to hot weather. So I'm not the world's biggest like festival fan, unless I have like places that I can run to seek cover. Because us little summer goths are very, very delicate and are easily broken. So I'm not the world's like biggest outdoors guy. But I mean, M3 is so near and dear to my heart. Maryland Death Fest here in Maryland, which is coming back in 2024. I would love to see you guys look into that, Chris. They're starting to announce bands. But I think that would be a cool one for you to maybe check out because they've had bands like Anvil and stuff play, as well as Exodus have played at Maryland Death Fest. So I think that would be a cool one for you to look into for sure, man. But yeah, I'm an indoorsman when it comes to stuff like lights, camera, action, HD if I can get it. That's the kind of stuff that I'm into. But Bobby, how about you? This is a good one for you, man, because you've really come into your own and really excelled with your photography. But just in general, what's your take on shows? Do you enjoy?
I think for a band standpoint, look, you guys hate going on in the daylight. Everybody does. I mean, how do you really put it? I had the opportunity to shoot down at Monsters on the Mountain, which was a great indoor venue in Tennessee in Gatlinburg. Anytime you can, look, when you don't have to deal with the elements of the weather or anything, outdoor event is great, but it all depends on when you're going on. If you're going on at 1 PM, dude, Chris, Tell me, don't you go?
Oh,
What the
no, it
fuck?
sucks.
Oh,
I mean, when we just did this Alcatraz festival, like, we went on at I think it was like 4:30 in the afternoon, but it was so freaking humid and hot, man. It was brutal. It was brutal. I mean, I prefer nighttime for sure.
well, but even staging, everything else, you perform differently at the time.
Right.
You know, it's
Yeah, I mean, I think any musician would rather play at night than like broad daylight. You know, I literally I've done things even in the morning. I remember we did a TV show one time at like 8 in the morning, and it's like, what the hell is this shit? Why are we even doing this?
yeah.
You know, it's kind of hard to start, cranking out heavy metal at 8 o'clock in the morning. But it's funny because if you look at those old videos from like the US Festival and all that, when they had like Judas Priest and Van Halen, I mean, they're playing in broad daylight.
Well, look, I was one of the attendees at Live Aid, and
Okay.
in Philly, fucking Priest and whatever that early in the morning, and I'm going, really? But hey, but you got to put your game face on and your big boy pants, and go out there and give give it what it is.
Yeah.
But it's a little difficult. I mean, these festivals, I mean, especially, look, Chris, when you're a fairly unknown band and you're the up and comers, whether you've been around for a while, but when you're on the bottom end of the list, you know where you're going.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, how hard is it for you guys to compete, especially doing these European gigs?
No, it's not. It's really not easy. I mean, we just when we get the opportunity, to do them, we just you just freaking go for it and play your ass off and try to take no prisoners, and try to have a good time doing it, because you got to have fun doing it. Otherwise, what the hell are you doing it for? So, and this isn't. We're not in a business anymore where you can't make any money selling albums, hardly at all. People download the records and stuff like that for free. So you got to do it because you love doing it, and we love doing it. But as far as looking at it as competing against people, I don't think we really do that too much. We used to do that years ago, but we're just happy at this particular moment in time that, if we get the opportunity to do something, we just run with it as far as we can and appreciate the moment of doing it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. So I want to go back to one thing. Who
Yes.
did the amazing artwork on this album?
Hold on 1 second, Bobby.
Hilarious on the screen.
Hold on 1 second. Damn thing. Hold on.
We're not a family show,
Right there.
despite the
Okay.
Chris,
we are.
Yeah.
so who did the amazing artwork, and who do you contribute this? This is out of this world. I mean, I love the work.
Well, that was a guy that pretty much our manager suggested using. His name's Johannes. He's got a company called Dangerous Age, and he did a lot of artwork. He worked for a lot of major labels back in the day. He actually worked with Giger, H.R. Giger, that did all the Alien stuff.
Wow.
So this guy's got quite a background, but check him out online. It's www.dangerousage.com, and look at some of the shit this guy's able to do, man. It's pretty far out.
But this is incredible. I mean, look,
Hold on.
dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
You could buy it on the website.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we'll have some
So-
pretty cool tour T-shirts available pretty soon here.
Good. We're good. Get some more.
So I'll let you know when we got them.
Second meal in 4 days.
Can you talk about some of the songs that are on the album? Any songs that really stand out that you guys worked on?
Yeah, I mean we did videos for Walk Away, and then we did a video for the other song Death of the Angels or Angel. We actually have another video that'll be coming out pretty soon too with the song Meet. Yeah, basically all these tunes, they were,
You got a shout out.
Steve Rebello wrote a lot of them.
Did I really?
Joe wrote a few of them.
Bottom comment.
Yeah, it's just one of these things where, we worked our butts off to record it and, did a lot of pre-production and all that shit. So
That's for me.
do you have a specific track you want to ask me a question about?
No, just the album in general.
It's the
Okay.
The-
Yeah, I mean, so far so good with it, and I'm glad that hopefully you guys all heard it and like it.
I definitely plan to definitely get the record.
Right on.
And with the merch as well, you guys now have hoodies, which now, if you're on the East Coast, you could definitely use because it's fucking cold outside.
Right. It's cold where I am too, man.
Huh.
Have you guys been getting any snow yet?
No.
No. Huh?
No.
Okay.
Like Maryland is bipolar as fuck. Like
Definitely.
it is like seriously like we get all 4 seasons in like a day.
Oh my
Like
God.
it's or in a week. It's really crazy. Like it keeps knocking me on my ass. Like I'm getting over like this chest congestion cold thing where like on Monday, dude, I felt like I called Mike Tyson a sissy. Like I was just beaten up. And it was crazy because like I'll get up to go to work. It'll be like 38 degrees.
Right.
And then like it'll be sunny and like 65 during the day. And then it'll be raining. And I'm just like, really? Why is this a thing? It's actually, according to the weather, like it's teased like a couple of like snow like rains. Like, what would you say? Like at least twice?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like at least twice.
Yeah.
And so Maryland is incredibly wacky when it comes to that stuff.
Actually
Bobby
born
Angel, what
here.
about Pennsylvania and Jersey?
PA's been kind of, hit or miss. We're about, a little frozen tundra right about now.
It's kind of crazy because they got snow farther up in North Jersey. Because when I drove up there, I definitely saw the snow and all that stuff. So
Wow.
I guess it all depends on what part of the Jersey you're at, or Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I want to hear from our fan Lisha. How's the weather out in Australia right now? Thank you for tuning in, by the way.
Yeah.
All the way out there. But
Little
Lisha,
down
tell-
under stuff.
I think it's
Yeah,
summer in
what-
Australia.
what's the weather down under? And keep in mind, we're a family show.
It's moist.
Shut up, Bobby.
It's summer in Australia.
It is.
We love you back. So that's definitely like super duper awesome. And so Chris, I got a question for you. When it comes to this tour, what's the biggest thing that you would like to see Trauma accomplish on this tour for next year? It doesn't have to be about money or sales or this or the other thing, but all of that stuff is important. And of course it's all important to be acknowledged that like there's a certain amount of financial stability that bands need to have in order to continue to tour and play for us. But what would you say is one of your most important goals for this tour for Trauma?
I think it's just, getting out there and interacting with the fans. We're really looking forward to doing that. I'd have to say we're just hopeful that
Sure.
People dig the music that we're going to play, and basically just pretty much be happy that we're entertaining people.
Yeah.
To try to have them forget about like maybe their shitty day they had, some other life crisis going on or whatever, just for those few moments that we might be able to put people in a better mood. I think that's the whole reason why you do go to shows and listen to live music, or you go to the movies or whatever it is you do, just so you get your mind off of daily stuff. And we just enjoy playing. So, yeah, I mean, it's a hard question to really answer.
For sure.
I mean, yeah, man, it's just pretty much entertaining people. I would feel really good about knowing that we did a really good job, and people enjoy themselves at the shows.
Absolutely. 100%, man. No, we definitely get it. And I've asked that question before on like this show, as well as just my own like personal one-on-ones and stuff. Cause I always just find it really interesting to hear artists' varying perspectives on what they look for when it comes to the various tours. But Angel, let me kick it up to you, brother, because it looks like we got some more questions popping up.
Yeah.
Can't hear you, buddy. I think you got muted somehow.
I said we have a normal question from Brian, which doesn't happen often. What do promoters get totally wrong?
Pretty open-ended question for Greg. What do promoters get totally wrong?
The brown M&Ms.
What promoters totally get wrong? I would say that a lot of times promoters, what they do is if they put the wrong types of bands together at a festival or some kind of big gig that don't really jive with each other. We've done gigs where we've played with death metal bands, and Trauma is not a death metal band. And I've played so many gigs, even with other bands. I was in a band with Frank Hannon from Tesla called Moondog Maine. And we were like a Southern rock band, and we did a gig at the Maritime Hall, and I couldn't believe the band we opened up for was freaking George Clinton and P-Funk.
What?
Yeah.
The funny thing is, Chris, and I'll kick it right back to you to continue, of course, but I couldn't agree with that answer more. Like, I've seen some wacky shows where I just am kind of
right.
It's the definition of a head scratcher, and it's like I don't want to judge, but it's so vibey, like when it's just going like that.
Yeah, that was a bizarre show, but the funny thing was the people actually, it seemed like they liked what we did, which was totally cool. But I would say that sometimes these guys, man, they just they don't think about the whole overall package, and they just want to fill seats, and they just put like these weird bands on things, man. And I think that's I think that's a huge mistake. Yeah.
Gotcha, man. Hey, Angel, did you see that Lisha lowered the hammer on our sad little East Coast with blue skies and perfect?
Yeah. we know it's summertime in Australia because a lot of bands tour.
Right.
Australia, there's Glamfest happening in Australia next month.
My boys in PBF will be there, as well as my beloved Wednesday 13.
Have you guys ever been to Australia?
No, I've actually never left the country.
Oh, okay.
Me neither. I've never even been to Canada.
Oh, okay. You ever get the opportunity to go there, check it out, because it's freaking cool.
Yeah.
It's a cool place, man. I'd been there a couple different times, and the last time I was there, they got these I don't know if you guys know much about Australia, but they got these gigantic freaking fruit bats. You know, like they got
The flying foxes?
yeah, and they you'll see a few of them flying, and then a few minutes later, man, you'll see thousands of them flying. Like it's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life, man. You know, and then they like land in they go to these gigantic trees, and they'll land in these trees, and they'll be upside down, and they'll literally freaking stare at you.
Damn, the sky puppies are out in force.
It's a trip. It's a freaking trip, man. You know.
They literally look like dogs.
Dude, that's
yeah,
crazy.
It's pretty wild.
Hell yeah.
Sky
You know.
puppy.
So I hope we can actually get down there at some point and play. We were supposed to go down there and play with freaking who's that band? Oh my god, man. My brain's not functioning. Shit. Not Machine Head. Oh god, I forget, man. We had the opportunity to go down there a couple times, but just for some reason it didn't work out. Oh, Diamond Head.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So hopefully one day we'll get down there.
Get your I Am Evil on.
Exactly.
Hell yeah, absolutely. Right back up to you, Angel.
So with South America, is there any chance of getting down there? Because we know that places like South America, places like Japan, they love their rock music.
Yeah, I mean, we would love to. Our biggest thing is we just need to get out there and do this Queensrÿche tour, and really just do a really really good job, and hopefully some opportunities will open up for us to do stuff like that. That's kind of what we're hoping for to a certain degree. So we just got to see how things go. But yeah, we would love to play down there. I remember when we did the 70,000 tons of metal cruise back in 2017. There's people. Have you guys ever been on that, by the way?
No.
It's a big,
No.
it's a big metal cruise that goes out of Miami. And when we did it, Anthrax was headlining it, and then Testament and all these other bands. But the cool thing is all these people from around the world go on this thing. And we had a lot of people from Brazil and a lot of places like that going, oh my God, you're in trauma. Like, oh my God, you got to get down here and play. So we heard a lot of that. And hopefully at some point we'll be able to get down there.
Absolutely, man. 100% for sure. While Angel's checking on other fan questions and everything, and also to give a little bit of respect, as always, to Chris for his schedule and the time that he's giving us as well, guys. It is last call for alcohol, so get all of your comments, anything you want to say, any questions that you want to ask to Chris about what's going on currently or had already gone on with trauma. Now's your time to get it in, fans. It's very common for you guys to rapid fire us and stuff like that. So it's so get them in now, guys. It is last call for alcohol when it comes to guests' questions. So lay them in there, guys, so we can always end on a high note when it comes to that kind of stuff. So, Chris, how do you have the rest of 2022 shaping up? Obviously, we're only about 2 weeks left in it, but is it currently just getting everything in shape for the tour, or do you have other little things you're also doing to fill your time?
Yeah, I mean, right now, it's almost to the end of the year. We rehearsed a couple times, probably just laying low through the holidays and New Year's, and then we'll hit it hard in January. And just really put the ball in motion for the band rehearsing, going through all the tunes, all that stuff. There's a couple things that I have the opportunity to record with, put some drums on a few things. So maybe I might end up doing some studio work before the year's out. So we'll see what happens though. Yeah.
Hell yeah, absolutely. And also, since Angel also is the resident drummer of our show, let's talk a little bit of gear. Talk a little bit about your setup and what you play and the companies that you're with.
Well, I've been an endorser of Sonar for quite a while now. They're out of Germany. I'm with Peisty Cymbals that I signed with in '89, so I've been with them for a really long time.
Wow.
I just switched to a head drumsticks. I was using Regal Tip, but these guys are making really cool sticks. It's a hockey. They make hockey sticks. Is this company Ahead?
Wow.
So
Really?
they started making drumsticks, and they're really cool to use. Let's see what else, man. Trick pedals I use. Aquarian drum heads. Just like these companies have been really good to work with over the years. I'll be using my Sonar kit on this tour, double bass kit. So what kind of stuff do you play, Angel?
I haven't played in a while, but I used to have just the Tama drums with the two tom toms and the one. But I always loved Eric Carr's drum set because he had like a whole bunch of tom toms around, like the guy from Iron Maiden. I could never afford it, but I just always like that drum setup.
Yeah. The only bitch with having something that big is hauling it around.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, absolutely, for sure. Yeah, I was actually going to ask Chris if you were a double bass drum guy.
Yeah. I prefer using two bass drums over the double pedal thing. The double pedal's cool, but it doesn't feel the same to me. Because it's like when you hit the bass drum, it doesn't give it enough time to like stop the vibration or anything, man. So it's kind of, to me, it just doesn't feel right. So I prefer hauling another bass drum around. So having two of them.
Yeah, to get that proper feel and sound.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a feel thing for me.
Absolutely. Oh, 100%, brother. Angel, let's kick it up to you, brother.
Before you go on stage, do you have a routine that you do with stretching or
Oh yeah.
Or on warm-ups? What are the best warm-ups that you do? And how important are they for you to do before going on stage?
I think it's good to do them just to keep relaxed, I might just stand there and do some jumping jacks, just some leg stretches and stuff like that. I don't go too crazy. But I'll do it for maybe like 15, 20 minutes, just to get, the blood circulating a little bit, especially if you come out from the gate, you're playing, a really fast song. I'd rather be a little warmed up to do it than not, but I think warming up is a good idea. I mean, I do it. So I've been doing it that way for a long time.
And do you still get, well, I guess, did you ever, or do you still get stage fright before you go out on stage?
Yeah, I mean, I get a little, I don't know if I'd call it stage fright. More of like an adrenaline thing going on, so it just, it's not too much, not stage fright. It's more of it's hard to describe. It's like one of these things. It's just like you got to go out and play, and you just freaking go for it. I don't know how to describe it. But not really stage fright.
All right.
Yeah.
And now, the fan questions. Question from Brian: define thrash metal.
Define thrash metal?
Yep.
Let's see. Well, I'd have to say when all those years ago, if you think about it, like with Sabbath or even Led Zeppelin or something like that. You know, Zeppelin was never a real metal. I always used to crack up when I'd see that they would call it, you know, Led Zeppelin metal music, or even Black Sabbath. At the time, it was super heavy music. But then, like when Motorhead came out, you know, and they were playing like Ace of Spades and all that kind of stuff. You know, you're talking about, you know, the early 80s. I mean, I knew there was bands like even before then that were playing metal music. So the thrash part of it, I would say, is taking a basic metal structure of a song, but then making it heavier, you know, just like making it more defined, adding, you know, different guitar elements, speeding up the drum pattern, and just kind of give it more of a thrashier kind of, you know, like thrash. Just, you know, I think of like some sort of animal like a shark or something, the way they eat, you know, they bite it into it and they thrash the thing around and take a chunk off. That sounds kind of stupid, I know, but it's just like that's about the best that I can do in terms of explaining what thrash metal really is. You know, there's so many different genres of metal now that like it's hard to keep track of them all.
Yeah.
You know,
Do you have a favorite T-shirt?
a favorite T-shirt?
Yeah.
I have one. I don't have it with me right now, but I have one I've got 2 Malamutes that I own, 2 big dogs. And I have this T-shirt that's got a picture of a Malamute on it that says something about what's the definition of wolf on it. Kind of cool. Sounds dumb, but it's kind of cool. That's like one of my favorite shirts. Yeah. You know.
What do you feel is?
Matter of fact,
Hell yeah. Show off the fur baby.
There you go.
yeah. I don't know if they're in my house or not. They're outside. They're playing in the snow. It's been snowing up here big time.
Damn.
Tahoe. So,
What do you feel is the best song that you have released?
like from Trauma or any band?
From Trauma from Trauma.
You know, the best song. I'd honestly have to say, let me think about that. That's a hard one, man. God. There's so many of them that I like. I mean, one of the ones would be like off the last album from, you know, As the World Dies was From Here to Hell was a really cool tune. The song Meat that we're the video that we're about to put out is a really cool song as well. You know, so I hope people dig the video when we get it out there. Probably in the next month or two.
Yeah. Also look forward to for the new year.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
What do you like the best about being a musician?
Oh God. Well, I've done it for so many years now. I would say it's the people you meet. You know, I mean, you meet so many different, you know, so many cool people. You know, guys like you, other musicians, the fans, people who are just like people who are music lovers. You know, to be on the inside. Being able to play an instrument and, you know, being able to play gigs and stuff like that and meeting people, I think it's the biggest joy of doing it, to be honest, I'd have to say. Because you would never meet the freaking nutcase people I've met over the years. Is like I could write a book, you know. I mean, I've met a lot of different people, you know.
And we're gonna get to the last fan question of the night. It comes from Australia. Did you have a plan B for your career if being awesome didn't work out?
It being awesome. I'm glad who's ever saying being awesome. That's awfully nice compliment. But yeah, I mean, basically, I've done other things. You know, I actually own a record label that I've got to deal with Sony.
Nice.
You know, so I like to put other people's music out. I would have to say that's plan B, you know, helping other artists try to achieve their goals, you know, and try to, you know, do a good job for people and give other bands and artists opportunity for their music to be heard. You know, that's kind of like my plan B, you know. So I do that when nothing's going on with band shit. I do that.
Hey, if you ever want to have any of the other bands that you have on your record label on the Metal Summit, dude, let us know.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I just got involved with a band called Savage Existence, and I'm putting their music out. This is a band of kids that are in South America. I think Costa Rica, actually.
Oh.
And they actually go play a lot of gigs with Sepultura over there.
Oh, okay.
Dang.
And I've listened to their music. It's freaking kick-ass stuff, man. I'm really excited. I got a single of theirs coming out. It's called Steady Blows to the Head.
Nice.
It's a good title.
Yeah. And that single comes out January 9th. And they're, you know, putting a lot of work and effort into like making it happen. And we got a good team behind it. And I'm really excited about doing it for these guys. So
yeah, but feel free to include us, you know,
oh, yeah.
one of the places we come to.
I'll let them know but that's what I really like doing. You know, I want to give back to you know, people that, you know, I want to be somebody that tries to help people out. You know.
Yeah. And we love the young, man. We're all about that, especially with this show too. Like there's another young band that I'm really into right now. It's Corey Taylor and Clown from Slipknot. It's their son's band. They're called They're called Vended.
Okay.
So it's Griffin is Corey's son, and I forget Clown's son's name just off the top of my head. But I've met both of them, and they're great kids, very polite. I really like I really like the stuff that they're doing right now. So yeah, they're called Vended. They're really, really cool. High energy metal, man.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Awesome.
And you can definitely hear Corey in Griffin. That's definitely Corey's kid.
That's cool, man. You know, that's what's going to keep this music, around for decades to come, man, is the young people that, you know, are into it and want to try to do it and just try to keep it alive. I mean, that goes for any type of music, really.
Yeah.
You know? But, you know, more power to them. That's why I'm into, you know, helping people out as much as I can.
For sure. And that's what it's definitely all about. Like earlier when we were talking about like Pantera and other stuff earlier in the episode, you know, I was talking about how like, you know, we're not trying to be like gatekeepers and stuff like that. But I will say though, that's my only real criticism of hard rock and heavy metal is despite the fact that it's, in my opinion, the most inclusive genre. Like you could go to a rock or metal show and there could be people there who you could tell are not like that, don't typically listen to the music, and we'll invite everybody in. Hey, come to the bar, or what are you drinking? Let me get you something. Are you having a good time? The rock and metal community is very, very inclusive that way. But I will say that I feel like my biggest criticism of the rock and metal community is we kind of tend to gatekeep ourselves. And I'd like to see more of these upper tier bands bringing some of the new young guns out more. You know, taking out like, you know, Dirty Honey or other bands that to really kind of get them exposed. Like I got a lot of respect for Motley Crue for them bringing out this band Classless Act who I've seen a couple of times, including including last night. I saw them in Baltimore again, and they were the opening band on the stadium tour. So it was Classless Act right before Joan Jett and Poison and
Okay, cool.
So I got a lot of respect for them, like doing that to try to bring out like a newer, unheard of band. And I don't feel like a lot of the old guard are, not so much that they're closed off to doing it. I just don't think they really think about it. And we're all big Kiss guys, and we love Kiss to death. And even a guy like Gene, bless his heart, but when he's like, when he's saying things like, well, rock is dead, it's like, well, dude, but you're not doing your part by bringing out like a young band on a Kiss tour.
Right.
Bring a young band out on a Kiss tour. Like, you're not allowed to sit there and say rock is dead when you're not doing your part. You can say that if all you do is bring out young bands.
Yeah.
Then you're allowed to say that.
Well, I can kind of tell you why that they don't do that.
Uh-huh.
And the reason being is, man, it's all related to money.
Yeah.
That's the downfall of it, because it costs so much money for a band to tour now, with travel, the fuel, the insurance that has to be paid for the venue that you're doing. I mean, there's so many things that a lot of people don't even realize that go into the whole pot before the band even is like, okay, these guys are showing up to play music. There's so many legalities of the whole thing that a lot of times, unless the band has a massive following, where it's justified, it's all about making money, plain and simple, man. Because I mean, I can remember when I was a kid going to concerts. First concert I saw was Kiss. I was like 14, and Cheap Trick was opening up for him.
Man.
And it's like, who the hell is Cheap Trick? You know what I mean? But they kicked freaking ass, and it was just because it was it was just different. There was so many huge concerts like that, like Day on the Greens that used to exist in the San Francisco Bay Area. And like, you'd have like maybe Journey headlining it, but then below them would be some band you've never really even heard of before, but that's how it was done then. But in this day and age, everything costs so much freaking money, to take an unknown band out there where you don't know how they're going to do. It's like the promoters can't risk that anymore, Yeah. And that's why you won't see it like that, unfortunately.
No, and it does make sense, Chris. I definitely get where you're coming from. Angel, do we have anything final on the board, buddy, or anything from yourself?
If you could choose your superpower, what would it be?
Nice.
If I had a superpower,
If you could choose,
probably be like invisible.
yeah, I like that too, especially with speeding.
I think being invisible would be cool. I mean, you could go into a bank, just kind of like help yourself to the vault.
Yep.
You know what
Teleportation.
I mean? But then again, they would see the money, so that wouldn't work.
But
I'm
they
all
won't
about
see who the suspect
teleportation.
is. Yep.
It's what?
They don't. No,
I'm all about teleportation. No more cars, no more gas money, no more car insurance. And think about it, man. I could go to like any show every night, wherever it would be. Be like, fuck, dude, Motley Crue's playing in fucking Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Yeah.
Let's go and just be there.
That is a good one, man. I dig that.
But yeah, dude, just the fact that I could be like, sweet, no more cars, no more car insurance, no more gas money. I am down. Okay, still got to pay the rent, which means still got to go to work. Oh, well,
Right.
cool. I can set my alarm for like 3 minutes before I need to punch in. Be like, take me to the time clock.
That would be cool, man, for sure. Well, hey, I hope when Trauma gets out to where you guys are, you guys come out and see us.
Oh, definitely.
Dude, you'll see me in Baltimore, bro.
Right on.
No,
Awesome.
I'll definitely hit you up right before the Baltimore show.
Awesome. That'd be great.
Oh yeah. For
Yeah.
sure, man. But Chris, as always, dude, you know how welcome you are, man, here, and we can't thank you enough for taking some time out of your evening to sit and talk to us about the upcoming tour, the fact that Awakening's out now, dude. And I mean, congratulations, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And for
Yeah.
fans that are looking, where can you be found?
www.traumathrash.com.
That's awesome. Hell yeah. Hey, Angel, do me a favor real quick, buddy. Make me the big screen.
Hold on 1 second.
No, I got to show off because Megan's becoming quite like the horror painting person. She's
Oh, wow.
killing it. And
Look
she
at
knows how much I love Trick or Treat. So I got to show off this bitchin' Sam that she made for me.
That's cool, man.
It's just so rad. So I was like, I'm just going to showboat for a second on the show.
That's
But
Nothing
also,
wrong with
you know,
that.
we also love our fans. We love the Metal Summoners. They're so good to us. And we also want to send a shout out to Sandy from Toronto. She always watches us on YouTube. And we thank you so much, girl, for always just rocking out and having great questions and supporting the show, and wanted to wish you a very happy birthday today.
cool. Happy birthday.
Thank you for spending your birthday with the Metal Summit. And again, hey, Chris, thank you so much, man.
Thank you,
We'll let
guys.
we'll let you put your feet up and relax for the evening. But again, reach out anytime. We're happy to have you, man. And we can't wait to see you when you're hitting New York and Jersey and PA for the guys, and definitely
Oh,
Baltimore
yeah.
for myself, bro.
Looking
we'll,
forward to it.
We'll finally
right.
be able to have that drink.
Have a good evening. Thank
Take
you.
care, brother. We
right.
appreciate you guys. Metal Summoners, we love you guys. You rock. We will see you guys next week for our Christmas episode. It'll be guest announcement is later this week, and you all guys always know to watch out for that. So we appreciate you guys. On behalf of the Metal Summit, check us all out on our social medias. For me, just a RNR Junkie on Instagram, Angel Alamo on Instagram, as well as Facebook. Bobby Dreyer at BobbyDreyer.com, and Psycho Steve at The Real Psycho Steve on both Psycho Steve Instagram and Psycho Steve Facebook, and on his Instagram. But thank you guys so much, and make sure you're following Chris and Trauma on all of their social medias as well, whether it's Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, all that fun stuff. And they are about to hit the road with the Mighty Queensryche and Marty Friedman. So
For
again,
6
we thank
weeks.
Chris so much. 6 weeks.
There we go.
The fur baby. There we go.
There we go. Hey, you guys have a good one, man.
Absolutely, for sure. You guys take care. Metal Summoners, we love you guys. Have a great rest of your weekend. Be good to each other, love on each other, and we will see you guys next week for the Christmas episode. As always, you've been watching the Metal Summit.